And hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. And thank you once again for tuning in to another edition of Real Talk every Friday, 10 o'clock on 92.5 WLSD, The Vault. Maybe this would work. There we go. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that sounds a lot better.
It does. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Real Talk on 92.5 WLSD. And I'm joined tonight with David. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love being here.
And we're going to dive into a fun movie tonight. We're going to dive into the 1990 movie, Men at Work. And it's going to be a fun show. But before we get into that, please go to all of the social media. That's the Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram, The Other People's Show. Views and listening audience is going up, so that's a great thing, and it's all due to you all, so thanks very much. And David, you and Jeremiah have helped bring in a new audience as well, so thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's been going on this week? Have you watched?
Tell you what, my wife's really been into like true crime here lately. We've been watching like a lot of stuff on like the Hernandez brothers and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I watched here recently, which I had a hard time keeping my attention to it. But it was an Adam Sandler movie on Netflix. Is I think like Spaceman or something like that.
Oh, the Adam Sandler one?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was kind of weird.
Okay.
I'll be honest. It's one where he's like out in space.
Right.
He gets lost and like ends up meeting like I would almost say sentient spiders, except like they're not talking. They communicate through telepathy, and like it ends up like interesting him and like why he's so sad and like why he's so driven to do what he's doing. And,
Really?
Yeah. And like,
So this is a serious Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah.
Is it his most serious movie, you think?
I would say yes.
Okay,
I'd say yes because it was totally just to pull on like the human psyche.
Okay, and he's the only one in the movie, isn't he? Is he about the only person?
There's flashback moments and stuff. So like no, not really, but like
Okay.
in the end, like the main plot, and like the main story, it's like in the present, it's him and that spider.
Okay, so it's a Netflix movie. I know it came out a couple months back. What else have you watched this week?
Well, I was see here. Not really watched much more movies, other than just like the true crime and a couple, just the Adam Sandler movie. Let's see here. There was something else, and it was a couple of days ago.
Now, I've been watching. While you're thinking there, I've been watching. I typically try to watch about a movie a day if I can, and I try to watch one every night. I watched John Carpenter's The Thing the other night. Have you watched that one?
I have not seen that one in years.
Yeah, this was actually only the second time I'd seen it. I almost purchased it the other day in Walmart. They had it on like a 3-pack on DVD. The original, the newer one, and then like a Creature from the Black Lagoon, just a random one. It was a 3-pack. But I was like, you know what? I bet if I hold out until October, it'll be streaming somewhere. And it was on like, I think Prime Video. So I watched that, and then been watching a lot of always kind of like those true crime stuff that you were kind of talking about. Just different ones. It could be. I'm trying to think one that I watched recently. One series is called something like Roommate from Hell. I think something like that.
Okay, yeah, I think that one's on Netflix. My wife's got that one saved to her list, actually.
Okay. So that's one to check out. And that brings us to tonight's movie, which is a early '90s comedy. And if you follow '80s comedy, we know that David does because you brought up Mr. Baseball,
Yeah.
which I looked at. If we hadn't done The Fan a few weeks ago, I was going to suggest Mr. Baseball, and we'll have to do that one because I've only seen it once or twice. And you said that was one of your favorite movies,
Yeah,
didn't
I
you?
just watched it last year, actually.
Okay.
Went and had it down.
What's another movie in recent years, maybe as an adult, that you've watched? You know, you were talking about how you had seen American Werewolf in Paris so many times growing up.
Yeah.
You watched it almost every day for a while. What about as an adult? Is there any movie that you've watched an excessive amount of times as being an adult?
I wouldn't say... No, not really. I mean, if you want to, like, get into the excessive sense, I went to the movies 3 times to see the Deadpool and Wolverine movie.
Okay. So that's a recent one that you've done it.
Yeah.
Okay. I did that, I think the last, let's see, I saw Longlegs twice in theaters. And I don't know why, but our video is blocked to the show we're doing right now.
Yeah.
It's blocked in 250 locations. So I don't understand why, but it is. Just got that notification. But regardless of that, yeah, this is the movie that I've only seen the first half of. And I've wanted to watch it time and time again, and I go on there because it's often on like Pluto or Tubi or something like that. And there it was once again staring at me in front of my face. So I was like, hey, David, you want to do Men at Work? And you're like, sure. So here we are.
Absolutely.
So the premise of Men at Work is 2 garbage men uncover a conspiracy involving illegal toxic waste dumping and decide to bring the whole operation down. Now, that's basically the quick premise, but the way they discover that it's toxic waste is kind of a little bit of the hilarity of the movie, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Because originally they're just two guys living their life.
Yeah, just 2 roommates trying to make money, trying to start a business, I believe.
A surf shop. Yeah. Which I did find, and we can talk about it a little later, but I did find it funny that was what they really wanted to do, was surf and have a surf shop.
Yeah,
because other than the one point in the movie, is it ever mentioned again, really? It's not mentioned that much, is it?
No.
I didn't think so.
I think it literally just that one time. I mean, you like at the beginning when you see Amelia's character James wake up with that chick. She's like, well, can I borrow your board? And he's like reluctant to give it up. So like you immediately right off you're like, okay, so like he's a surfer.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was the scene like right after they're talking about their surf shop where they just come over like the little sand dune there and they both got their boards.
And they unzip their garbage man outfit, but it never shows them surfing.
No.
It really doesn't even show them picking up the surfboard, other than just setting it down. Like they don't have it under their arm. But it is kind of funny that's what they chose to. That's what their goal was to be. Which was a fine goal. That's a fine goal for the movie.
Yeah,
but we got the director, Emilio Estevez, and you said you knew this was directed by him, but you didn't realize that he was actually a director of other movies as well?
Yeah, no, I had no idea. Because, I mean, really, honestly, to sound lame right now, the only thing I really knew him for was
The Mighty
Breakfast
Ducks?
Club.
Oh, The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he was in those Mighty Duck movies.
I never watched those.
Okay.
They never really appealed to me.
Yeah.
I have to go back and watch them. I might like them.
I've only watched the first 2, and the only reason I even really watched them was it was on dates when I was younger. We went on a date, and that seemed kind of like as a younger teen. Well, I was probably a younger teen. That would probably been like a safe date movie, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the only times I've ever seen those. The Breakfast Club, and Emilio Estevez is in this really good movie I reviewed a couple months back called Judgment Night.
Judgment Night?
Yeah, it's got Cuba Gooding Jr. and Stephen Dorff, and it's like an action thriller from early '90s, and it's actually an underrated movie. But Emilio Estevez has directed a couple many movies. Wisdom in '86, Men at Work in 1990, The War at Home with his father in 1996, Bobby in 2006, The Way 2010, and The Public in 2018. So he is a guy, he's an actor, but he spent a lot of time behind the camera as well. And I think this is a good showcase because you have to think Emilio Estevez at this time was probably, I don't even think he might have been 30 years old at this time.
No.
Probably mid-20s, I would say.
Yeah.
And, this is his second feature, and I think as a comedy, I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning earlier. I mean, it is. All the comedic value was there. It's very funny, but it's just wild, just how things would be funny and then just flip of a switch, it just gets serious all of a sudden.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like you're like laughing and just like things get tense all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he weaves it together where it doesn't even feel like, it feels like a natural, like something natural that happens. It doesn't feel like sometimes two different movies. It feels like it goes together very well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just I think the part where I realized that like it went from a switch to like serious to funny was whenever let's see here, Carl's going over to Susan's apartment. Yeah. And let's see here, James and Lewis, Keith David's character, they're just like sitting at the apartment, and then like, they kidnap the pizza guy because he sees James rolling the dead body. Right. And then it's like there's the comedic value there, but like at the same time you see Lewis just kind of like flipping out because he's having like a PTSD episode, which I never really expected because like it does not showcase. It just seems like somebody's just serious. Right. Yes. And I don't know if you, I didn't realize because I'd only seen up until this watch of it only the first maybe 25, 30 minutes. So the pizza delivery guy that gets kidnapped was also in a movie called Summer School. And he's also in a movie called Ski School and Ski School 2. But his name is Dean in real life. And in Summer School, he plays. It's a movie about a bunch of kids that are going to actual summer school because they failed, and then they're kind of kids. The stereotypical teenagers. They're just lazy. One of them has a job. Being a stripper at night, that's why he can't study. And the guy that plays the pizza delivery guy, him and his friend in summer school, they specialize in horror makeup. So in the movies Summer School, they're always doing things like, the teacher will come in, so they're acting like, one of them's chainsawed against the wall, or one of them their hands cut off, Yeah. So it was funny to see that guy because I've not seen that guy in many things. And when he opened the door and he was the pizza delivery guy, I laughed immediately because I knew who he was. Yeah. And have you ever seen this movie called Three Ninjas? About these little kid ninjas? There was 3 movies. There were 3 ninjas, 3 ninjas kick back, and then a third one. Yeah, I think I did. And he reminded me of like one of the silly villains from 3 Ninjas. But 3 Ninjas is actually a pretty funny kid movie. Like, I was a kid when I saw it. Yes, I believe, Tum Tum's one of their names. It was like a blow-up it was like a weird little karate kit you could get as a kid, where it come with like an instructional DVD or something, and like a weighted, like, it was like you had to put water in it and inflate it, but it was like, showed you like points to like kick the bag. Yeah, yeah. I remember that. My mom got me that whenever I was like 12, and it threw me in like a karate kick, and I went back and watched like all the Karate Kids, and I ended up finding out about those and watching all those. Okay. And yeah, I did. I enjoyed those when I was young, but it's about the only time I'll probably watch them. Yeah, I haven't watched them since probably the first 2 times in the theater. I think once I saw 3 Ninjas again as maybe a younger adult, but it's been a long time. But anyway, I just say that because the pizza delivery guy reminds me of a guy from that movie. But yeah, we got Charlie Sheen as Carl, Emilio Estevez as James, Keith David as Lewis, Leslie Hope as Susan. And, there's a lot of people in there. There was a guy, the main villain in this movie, I don't know his name, but he was have you ever seen the movie Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead? I have not seen it. Have you heard of it before, though? Yeah, I've heard of it. Okay, so the guy that plays the main villain in this one, the guy, his hair's slicked back, and he's,
pretty much the head honcho, the bad guy.
Something about him.
He's kind of like the slime ball in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead as well.
Okay.
So that's where I knew him from. But really, other than that, I didn't really know any of the other actors or actresses, I don't think. Other than the main ones, I don't think I'd seen any of the others in any other thing.
I'm trying to think back. I really don't think.
Because the bumbling, the bumbling, well, I guess you could call them hitmen.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen them in anything before.
No.
And so mainly, and I thought Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez, I never had, other than this movie, they've done a couple of movies together. They did a movie called X-Rated. It was a Showtime movie in 1996, and they were both in it. And I think that was also directed by Emilio. But I thought their chemistry in this movie was really good.
No, yeah, actually, I did too.
I thought they worked together really well.
And see, one of my favorite parts, honestly, it was actually whenever they're like seeing that councilman argue with Susan about her giving him the wrong or taking the wrong tape or whatever, and like whenever they're like, he's like taking aim about to shoot him in the butt with the pellet gun.
Yeah,
I was that right there. Probably my favorite scene with them together. Like as far as like the comedic, where it's supposed to be funny.
Yeah, that was a funny scene, and the way that built, because I thought it did have a little suspense.
Yeah,
and it had that funniness because he pulls out the gun, shoots him in the butt with the gun, but the way the guy falls also was funny.
Yeah,
because he falls down in that chair kind of backwards. And then that's when the
hitmen come in.
Yeah, the hitmen come in.
They're like the henchmen or whatever.
Yeah. So we'll get into a few facts, and then we'll get into the movie. So here's a few facts. And you said you didn't know a couple of these. The Japanese Garbage Collectors Union demanded that the film be banned from video shelves as it disparaged trash collectors, portraying them in a poor light. I didn't think it put garbage men in a bad light.
So, like, did they win?
No, I don't think so.
The strike didn't win?
No. But I didn't think it made garbage men look bad. Did you?
No. I mean, okay, so, like, the two dudes that are, like, constantly, like, trying to play pro.
Right.
Maybe those two dudes weren't but, like, I don't think that they're out here acting like that.
No, I mean, the only thing that they did, and it was obviously toward comedic effect where, occasionally they were bowling, or when they were doing the high fives with the trash can lids, or using them as frisbees, but that's kind of child's play. That's nothing.
I mean, it's
nothing
just
bad.
It's just a movie. It wasn't based on no true story or anything.
No.
So I mean, it's just.
That always kind of makes me laugh a little bit when people take movies like this seriously.
That almost be like trying to go watch stand-up comedy and taking it seriously.
Yeah, I'm like, you're here to see a funny show. You're here to watch a funny movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So the scene where Lewis terrorizes the cops uses the same music as A Clockwork Orange. Now, did you notice that when watching it?
I did not notice the music, no. No, I don't think I've seen A Clockwork Orange.
Okay, this is something that I'm kind of ashamed to admit, but I've not either. But I do know some of the scenes, and I wrote this itinerary before I rewatched the movie again. Okay. So I meant to, listen in that scene, but I completely forgot when the scene came around. Yeah. So, if you're checking the movie out, you may recognize the music from A Clockwork Orange. So, and I did notice this though. Emilio Estevez's character asked Charlie Sheen's character if he's a major league loser, and it's right around that surfing scene as they're walking, and Charlie Sheen's character says Major League, replies Major League, obviously a reference to the movie Major League, which Mr. Sheen made the year before. But I did hear that in the movie, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember writing that down.
I did. I actually laughed at that part.
Yeah, so that was a nice little throwback to Major League, which was a fun baseball movie.
It was.
Yeah, I liked it. I've only seen the first two of them, though. I've never seen the third one.
See, I think I've only seen the first one.
Okay. Now, the second one has, Wesley Snipes doesn't come back as Willie Mays Hayes for the second one. I think there's another actor that steps in. The sanitation company where Carl and James work is called Shoreline Waste. Their motto is, "You're friendly, efficient garbage experts." I just thought that was a funny fact. And I did notice it was called Shoreline Waste as well.
I mean, in the movie, I wouldn't necessarily say that they're efficient, but I'll tell you what, they were all really friendly.
Yes, they were friendly.
They're just all punks. They're young and they're just punks.
And one thing you have to admit, they were punctual. They were never late for their job.
No, yeah.
I mean, even when he's sleeping on the beach, he wakes up and goes to his job.
He literally has like what it was, that radio alarm?
Yeah.
Clock radio alarm.
And then there's another scene in the movie where it shows the alarm clock for just a moment and they get up. So that leads me to believe they're punctual. They're on time. They know how to put excrement in an airbag and make it a prank.
And you know, there was actually that scene where they were playing with those trivia cards, and they're actually really smart.
Oh yeah,
they are extremely smart. Two extremely smart men in the movie.
That's true. That's true because I don't think it made garbage men really look bad, even with the hijinks they did. They're smart. They're getting stuff done. I mean, even though they're causing a little disruption, on the streets, they're still getting their job done.
Yeah,
but they're causing enough of a disruption to be chaperoned one day. Mm-hmm. So this was a pretty cheap movie, $4 million, and it made about $16 million, so it was a financial success. Yeah, but at the time, the critics obviously didn't like it at 44%, and the audience only had 44%, critics at 32%, and IMDb at 5.9. And I would have to honestly, in my opinion, give it a little bit better than that because I did laugh.
Really, absolutely, and like I said, it's a drama and a comedy, and it's just like it captures both. It has its intense drama moments and its intense comedic moments.
Yeah,
it's just, I guess, if you had to ask me where it probably pulled them away like that, is probably the fact that it just switches just so quickly. It's just again another case of just something that was ahead of its time.
Yeah, I think so too. And we even discussed it before the show, like the opening where it shows the toxic waste canisters being dumped. And just to let everyone know, there will be spoilers. I mean, this movie is 34 years old, so if you've not seen it by now, you can't really expect to be spoiled at this point.
It's definitely worth a watch.
I think it is too, and I really hate that it's taken me so long because for one, to be honest with you, the image of them in front of the garbage cans, and it said just "Men at Work" with that yellow sign.
You think it's going to be absolutely serious, and that brings me back to like the pellet gun scene, because you see the cover, the cover, and you think like, oh well, they're trying to cover their own tracks for something, and then you see that scene, they're like, oh goodness, he's going to shoot this dude in the head on accident or in the eyeball and kill him or something. And that's where their job comes in play, where they're garbage men that obviously it'd be a little easier to hide a body. In that case, it being a movie.
Exactly. I do think it probably caught people off guard how much comedic or how much what truthfully to expect, and I think they do a good job at it. I really do.
Yeah.
Because this would be a movie, and I don't want to give too much away already, but this would be a movie that I would probably watch again. You know what I mean?
I absolutely, like I said, I watched it yesterday, and then just 6:30 watched it again just before I came here.
Right. So let's get into the plot and the story a little bit in Men at Work. Basically, the plot that we said, they're garbage collectors. They stumble upon, Charlie Sheen's character, Carl. I thought of this. He is a little bit of a peeping Tom, but he doesn't only, he's kind of peeping. It seems to me that he's peeping on everyone. Yeah, everyone.
Just the nosy neighbor.
Because at one point that I thought was funny, and was when he's looking through
the other guy with the binoculars.
Yes. Then when I rewatched it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. And that made me laugh.
He was like, hey, what are you doing, fella?
Yeah. And that was within what, the first 10 minutes of the movie, probably.
Yeah.
That's his introduction scene when he's looking through, isn't it?
It is. It's his introduction scene.
So I thought that was a good little introduction, and then as the plot moves along, more characters come to play. Like Lewis, Keith David's character, comes in about 30 minutes into the movie, and he's really comedical, and he's like a wild card.
Yeah, he is. He's a wild card. He's like full range. He can do just about anything. He's got all kinds of good movies.
Yeah, he was in They Live. But yeah, I forgot that he was really in it, and he's not even on the poster or anything.
No.
So he comes in to kind of chaperone.
It's wild because like he looks extremely young in that movie, as opposed to like how he did. Because like it's a total time shift from like just 30 years ago.
Yeah.
35 years ago. It's like you wouldn't like him back then in that movie. You would have never expected him to like being as old as he was in that movie.
Yeah. And that was another reason I think I liked it, because it had like I know it was from like 1990, but when we go back and watch these older movies like that, there's hardly any cell phones in the movie, if you've noticed. Like none.
There's like one car phone, I think.
Yeah. And that's it. And that's kind of funny. Plus, I like seeing a lot of like older cars, or like the landscape of how things looked back in the 80s or 90s.
Sis, I'm the same.
The way they dress.
Exactly.
I saw Emilio Estevez. He had like an earring in.
Yeah.
And I thought that was...
I was like, oh wow. So just like, and it's funny because like his image was different, but his character was slightly the same as it was in The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
He still had that like jockey mannerism to him.
Yeah, it was just like that character had grown up just a little bit.
Yeah, like he's still jockey, but like he has like that care.
Yeah.
He's also a caring character.
Yeah.
Because like he didn't want to pull that pizza man into like none of that situation.
No.
Lewis was just like going completely off the wall.
And that was a nice little scene, because you got the pizza man. The pizza man sees that James is pulling the. Actually, it's a corpse at this point with a president's mask on. Right? Was it president's mask?
It was Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
Richard Nixon mask. Yeah.
Which is also a mask, which is weird, a mask that's used in Point Break a year later.
Okay.
Richard Nixon mask. Have you seen Point Break? Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze?
I probably have. It's probably been a while, though.
If you haven't watched it in a while, you should. It's the old one. The new one's not good. The new one's not good at all. Okay. But the old one still holds up to this day. I mean, it's one of the best action thrillers. And Gary Busey's in it. He's got some funny lines in it. So, yeah, it's
Busey.
Yeah, he's actually the third lead in the movie. So, yeah, you should check it out again.
Definitely gonna have to.
What did you think about the characters? Did you have any favorite characters? I thought these are really great characters. I thought the main leads were really good.
I mean, I really liked Lewis. Just all his demeanor. I don't know. I'm not by no means. I'm not a person that acts like that. But just like his character, the way he just pulls it off. He did it so well. And like you see him, like you'll do a bit of those scenes where he's just like going off the wall. And then all of a sudden, like, you see him, he's, like, in a calm light. And, he's, like, more calm and he's more reserved. He's like, is everybody okay?
Right.
Like, he's like, okay, well, this is what we're going to throw together. This is what we need to do. Like, and he's just, like, a man of action. And I guess that's, plays in when he was from war, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I took it.
Say what war he fought in.
But he was a vet of some sort.
Yeah, because there was actually where you see Emilio interacting with the pizza man, trying to feed him some pizza, and then like pizza man tied up. You see Lewis like look over, and like it's like he's having a flashback to like the war he's in. I guess maybe like the Korean War, or
something like that.
Vietnam War, maybe.
Well, see, I also like that when he first meets, when they're all three in the garbage truck together, and then you've got I think James is driving, I think Carl's in the middle, and Lewis is on the passenger side, and I think James says something like, this sucks, or he sucks, something like
yeah,
that.
Yeah, this totally sucks.
Yeah, and Lewis is like, what did you say? And he said, you suck. And then he starts laughing. And then they all three start laughing. And then Lewis gets real serious and starts like going at him as they're driving.
Yeah.
And I think that's when I first realized he's off the chain. You don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah,
he's a wild card here. And I thought that was exactly a great character to add into this chaos, because they've got this chaperone now that's watching them because they've misbehaved a little bit. And then in addition to that, they stumble upon this body that's in this toxic waste container, who Carl just happened to shoot with a pellet gun in the butt the night before.
Yeah. And it's funny because Lewis, instead of just like, he's like, what did you boys do? And, you know, he's like, oh, well, I see y'all didn't do this. I'm about to help y'all figure this out. But instead of reporting it to the police and letting them do something with the body, they're just like, here, let's haul the body around.
Just haul it around, just like Weekend at Bernie's. They're just hauling the body around.
That's exactly what I was thinking of, Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah. And then they put the mask on. They're hauling the body around. Just like it's nothing. Which
even the scene whenever the cops show up, whenever they first, like, after they've like messed with the body a little bit and they put like a hat on him, the cops on the bicycle show up.
Yeah.
And like, you know, they're like even interacting with like the dead body, not even noticing nothing's going on, and they're just like playing off like, you know, dude's just like wasted.
This had a lot of good standout moments like that. It really did. Let's see here. What about, did you have a favorite or another? You were talking about your favorite scene earlier. Was there any other scenes that kind of grabbed you? And you were talking about when he gets shot with the pellet gun.
Let's see. Well, there was the scene whenever Susan's car blows up.
That's a good one.
Like I mentioned earlier, if you actually, because like, you know, and then again, it's a low budget movie. You can't, you know, expect, you know, perfection. You know, you can't expect perfection. And whenever the car blows up, you can actually see, you know, like on the right side of the screen, you can see whenever the demolition wires, you know, from where I guess, you know, all the dynamite and stuff hooked up to the car to make it explode.
I'm gonna have to tonight when I go back. I'm gonna go to that scene and see that.
But it's so, because like I was watching it and like I was like, I caught it at the corner and I was like, hold on a second, and I actually rewinded it back and played it through again, and I seen it, and I kind of, you see like two, plain as day, like two fat wires at least, and they like maybe like a smaller third one. But like you can see them plain as day. You just literally just gotta watch and pay attention. They're just there plain as day. I'm
gonna go back and definitely watch that. You know, I don't know if I could just narrow. You know, there's so many little funny scenes. There's the funny scenes where the cops are, you know, calling them over, and then Charlie Sheen's character, Carl Carl and James, wait, is it Carl? I think it's Carl and Susan walk over and they're handcuffed on the merry-go-round. Is that what that thing's called?
Yeah.
Merry-go-round?
Yeah.
Is that, some kind of, what is that thing called?
Now that you ask me, I'm not going to be able to remember.
I can't either, but it's something like a merry-go-round, but it looked like one of the ones that could go fast.
Yeah, it's like the ones that kids get on, spin each other and sling each other out of.
Yeah, but they're handcuffed in their underwear to that.
Which reminds me, like, what's Lewis's fixation with like stripping cops? I know he's like, I hate cops, but what's his fixation with having to strip them?
I don't know, because he says he hates them a couple times. I hate cops.
And even the last two that he interacts with, he's like, even rent-a-cops, I hate them too.
Yeah, he is not fond of them. Not fond of them at all.
He just does not like authority.
No.
Which is wild, because like he was in, you know, military.
Yeah. So you would think that he would be okay with authority, because he's kind of he comes off as an authoritative figure. Like, I wouldn't want to cross his path.
Yeah, no.
I would do what he says. Yes, sir. I would do what he says.
Absolutely.
Like, if I were James or Carl, I would be on my best behavior if he's around.
I mean, Carl definitely tried to get James too, but James just got a mouth on him.
Yeah. Yes, he does. What do you think about the score of the music for the movie?
You know, I thought the music was pretty good.
I thought so too.
I didn't pay like the closest attention to it, but like it all went in with the movie.
I thought so too. I thought the music that was played, I thought it went well. I thought it had that 80s, early 90s vibe, which is nice to see in a movie, especially because it takes you back. You know, it had like little songs like this,
Yeah.
like during the more intense moments.
Yeah. And see, it does it like the music does it matched every scene so well.
Right. So yeah, it had those little moments, and I thought, I think there was like a composer plus they borrowed some music too. So I thought whoever put it together, I thought they did a good job. What about originality? Emilio Estevez was working on a project, and a garbage truck had went through in the middle of the night, and he had thought, there's not really any movies about any garbage men. And that's the original idea of how this movie came to be.
You know, I still don't think there really is.
How many are there? I don't know. This is the only one that I know of.
And yeah, I mean, if you really want to like look back, I mean, like Drake and Future did a music video about working where they're like
Right.
garbage men. I mean, that's about the closest.
So yeah,
they go.
Yeah. So I think this was a pretty original movie. Now I know the toxic waste thing is like kind of a plot point in movies in the 80s and 90s, but I think it serves the plot well here.
Oh, yeah.
I think it works fine, and I think it does a good job. What about the poster? We both referenced the poster earlier. I think it's memorable. I think when I see this poster, now that I see it, this is the exact movie that I see. Emilio Estevez with that bandana tied on his head, the earring.
Yeah, the one thing that'll throw you off is that the fact that they got, the guy's legs hanging out of a trash can instead of a barrel.
Yeah.
Which is what they originally had him in, was the barrel.
That is true. That is true. I'd forgotten about that. And on the soundtrack, the picture here, it is a picture of the barrel, the Men at Work sign, and then just feet sticking up from the barrel.
Okay.
But it's not. It's only in black, white, and the square of the soundtrack is orange. So it's not the colors of the movie poster. Would you recommend this movie, David? Yes or no?
Yeah, absolutely. I give this movie 2 thumbs up, honestly. I mean, for what it's worth, the amount of money they had to put into it, I think you definitely.
I do too.
A great movie.
I do too. I was when I went back and watched it last night and then today, I was like, I'm glad this was the movie we chose. Like, it was a fun movie. It had some thrilling moments to it. I thought the acting was good. I thought everyone had some funny moments. I mean, Charlie Sheen did, Emilio did, Susan had some fun moments. Keith David had some really good moments. And then I think if you're wanting to sit back and just have a fun night watching a movie from the early 90s, this would be
throwbacks.
Yeah, I think this would be one to do. So yeah. So next week, this is the first weekend of October, which is the month of Halloween. So next week we're going to dive into The Woman in Black. Now you had said a couple weeks back that you don't often get scared or anything from movies, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Not really.
But you had said that The Woman in Black is a movie that had kind of creeped you out a little bit.
It definitely had me jumping a couple of times.
Okay, because I haven't seen it. So I'm looking forward to checking it out.
It's a good one. It's because whenever I saw it, it was the first thing I saw Daniel Radcliffe in since Harry Potter.
Okay.
So it's a curveball.
Okay, so it's completely different from him as Harry Potter then.
Yeah, because Harry Potter in itself is kind of like a serious movie.
Right.
The way it all pans out, but it still has its moments of comedic value.
Right.
And then the romance, but in The Woman in Black, his character he portrays is just so grim.
Okay.
It's very, and he plays it so well.
I'm looking forward to it because you're not the first person that said that it was good. A couple of other people I know, they were like, yeah, you need to check that out. So we'll definitely do that.
Actually, I believe whenever the movie was out in theaters, I believe it was high ratings, up there with Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, it did really well. As also, it made quite a bit of money, and it got good reviews as well. So this is going to be a fun one. So be sure to check that out next week. Also, be sure to go to all the social media pages. That's the Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram, The Other People's Show. And we will see you all next week. Have a good night.